So I really fell into crime fiction by accident while trying to write the great Edinburgh novel. I remember writing the notes down for the first rebus novel, and it just said the main character may be a cop, maybe a cop. But I didn't know anything about the police, I didn't read any crime fiction at the time. But I did want to write about contemporary Edinburgh, and I did want to write about the social problems that Edinburgh had at that time. The sense to me that it was still a Jekyll and Hyde city. It was a city of very rich people and very poor people. A city with well-disguised social problems, because all the bad estates, the housing estates, are all on the periphery where the tourist and the visitor never goes. And at that time in the mid-80s, Edinburgh had one of the worst drug problems in Western Europe. It had huge problems with social deprivation. Oxfam were running aid convoys in, but nobody was writing books about it. This was slightly pre-Trainspotting. I thought, well, I'll do it. I'll write books about Edinburgh and about the fact that it's one thing to the tourist, but another thing if you happen to live here. I mean, the antennae are always switching, always flicking around, because you don't know where the next story is going to come from. I read a couple of newspapers a day, people tell me stories, people send me letters to the Oxford Bar saying, have you thought about writing about this, have you thought about writing about that? And, you know, maybe one time in 100 it's a good idea, and I actually act upon it. I mean, a woman wrote to me and she said, how come you've never written about the private school system? It's pervasive in Edinburgh. I thought, yeah, it's true actually, why have I never done that? So I did it in one of the books. There was a time when Mary King's Close was a secret a few people knew about, and you had to go to the city chambers, the council headquarters, and ask permission to go down and have a look at Mary King's Close. And when I went down there, this little narrow street that had been blocked off and paved over because it had had the plague centuries back, and then people thought it was haunted. I went into one of the little rooms there and there were hooks hanging from the ceiling. I just thought, a great place for a body. So there's something in my subconscious or in my head that makes me seek out the kind of darker places. I think the thing about crime fiction per se is that crime fiction is about why we continue to do bad things to each other, generation after generation, century after century. And that question hasn't really been satisfactorily answered yet, so we keep finding new ways of discussing it.